Hey everybody, it's Aaron with Aaron's Got Eventing. I had something super exciting to share with you guys today. We're gonna have a special guest come. But I came home after a 12-hour work shift overnight. You can see the sun is just starting to come out a little bit. I'm gonna come out and give Saba some breakfast, and I walk into this. Now I want to take you and show you this, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about what's going to happen a little later, but I wanted to share this with you too, it never fails. There's always something. Here's Saba, he's eating, and just check him over like you normally would, and I see that right there. It's like he's kicked something. You see that right there? And then look on the back of where his fetlock, his hocks, he's got blood here as well. So yeah, that's fun. Okay, so I hope that's good. So, as like I said, I was just getting home, and we have Mr. Daniel Jones, a very, very talented farrier that's going to come today, and he agreed to look at Saba, trim him, and answer some of our questions about health, for the hoof health, and maybe some more things in between. We're going to talk about shoeing. When's the right time to shoe a horse? Why would they need that sort of thing. I'll do more of an introduction with him when he gets here, so I don't get it incorrect, so I can ask him about a lot of things too. So as Saba's eating breakfast and licking his wounds over there, I'm gonna give him give him some hay, some fresh water, clean out his stall. I'm gonna do a really good grooming, so when Mr. Jones does come over, that he's not working with a dirty horse and flies running around. I think I would appreciate that if it was me working on a horse. But so we'll do all that. I'll come back and I'll give you an update on his fetlock and his hocks and that little cut there. So, and as as anything, you want to know what happened. He's just like, what in the world? Had all these plans for the day. Everything's gonna go great, and all of a sudden you see that. So, as a horse owner, you're like, what happened? Where's the danger? How can I remove it? So I'm walking up here to check his stall, and this is what I see. Now this wasn't here before, so I'm figuring, see that massive crack in the wood there? This was not here, so I feel like, and look, there's a little bit of his mane. I'm sorry, his tail. So to me, I think it may have spooked him, and he decided when he was, maybe itching his butt, that he got caught and it spooked him, and he started kicking, and he kicked that piece of wood, cracked it. Now, hopefully I don't have to replace it, I may, and has damaged that right there. It doesn't look too bad. The bleeding looks like it stopped. And we're also going to talk about, this is maybe a good before and after. You can see here on his hooves where it's cracked a little bit, so we're going to talk about the cracking issues. And of course he is ready to be trimmed, so all that'll look really nice. But and then back there, it doesn't look too bad. He doesn't seem very ouchy with it, but we're going to clean it up and make him look presentable and make sure there's nothing serious there, and I'll get back with you guys. Hopefully I can get all this done and maybe sneak in a nap, because I haven't slept at all, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks guys, see you in a minute. I thought there might be an injury on that one. Actually it just came from a little blood transfer from that I think where he's kicked the wood, So what we're gonna do is put a little bit of antiseptic on it. So it must not hurt that badly. So listen, look at that kid. Hey everybody, welcome back. We just we got through to this morning's fiasco, and we have a special guest with us today. It's Mr. Daniel Jones. So I'm going to talk to him about what happened this morning with Saba. So it was actually a little bit of a minor thing. He had a little argument with a fence post. But Mr. Jones has, I wrote a few things down. Among his many other accomplishments, he's recently awarded the 2020 standing on the American Farriers Team, and placed 4th overall in the 2020 International World Horseshoeing Classic in Kentucky. He's been a farrier for 24 years in this region, and we're so delighted to have him here today. He continues his education and research constantly, keeping up to date for the best quality care for our horses. So with that, he's agreed to answer a few of our questions, and we're going to start out with the ones that we most normally see today in this area. So Mr. Jones, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We have a couple different climates here in Alabama. We have that wet, really wet and cold. It's not super cold, but, and then like today, it's really, really hot. So in the wet climates, we normally see like a thing called thrush. I'm gonna ask him a little bit what that is. And then during the dry seasons where we get some dry cracking hooves. So Mr. Jones, first of all, like what is thrush? And what can we do to maybe slow it down or maybe even prevent it if we can?
Thrush is actually, it's an anaerobic bacteria. So it invades the central sulcus or the commissure of the frog, which are the two channels that run inside your foot where your frog is. Keeping those cleaned out, so some of it depends on where you live. So if you live in real sandy soil and the foot keeps itself basically slung out of it, the packing comes out of it pretty easily, and you probably won't have a lot of trouble with it. If you live in a place that has a lot of topsoil, mud, clay, that packs into the foot and it seals it off. So anaerobic means it likes no oxygen and warm and moist. So if just getting the air to it and keeping it cleaned out daily, every other day, will help prevent it. And then like your typical thrush remedies are like your thrush buster, copper tox is a good one. And that's for just good everyday maintenance, just preventative, put it on a few times a week, depending on if you have the case or not. If your horseshoer, it depends on if you're using a farrier that is like a journeyman, a certified guy or something, but they should be able to explain to you what's happening with your own specific horse and kind of help prescribe whatever kind of preventative maintenance you might need. In extreme cases of it where you might see a lameness from thrush would be where the central sulcus actually, you get that real deep crack in there and it just packs full of stuff, and when it gets down to the sensitive, it would almost be the same as taking sandpaper and just rubbing the balls of your palms on it like this. So that's why they get lame. So then you might be needing to use the mastitis medicine sometimes, which is a penicillin based, or packing it with galls in there with neosporin. And the galls are actually like put a pad in there so the foot's not actually rubbing. And those are typical cases. Down here where we live, the more humid rain level is where you're going to see the majority of your thrush. Or if you have a horse that's stalled a lot, those are feet that need to be cleaned out, because like in a stalled horse, say you have a horse that's stalled 12 to 18 hours a day, well, he's standing in urine and feces, and then the shavings pack in on it, well, you just made a perfect breeding ground for thrush. So you need to clean them out daily. If he's not getting out and he can run, most of the time they sling the material out of their foot themselves. So that's your typical baseline thrush.
Nice.